Welcome to week 7 of the Artist Way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I need to get back on my Sunday recording schedule because it's Friday today and we're almost at the end of week 8. I don't even remember what we did in week 7. Week 7 was about recovering a sense of connection and damn, I don't remember what this week was about. Anyway, as always, we're going to start with the weekly check-ins, and as usual, we start with morning pages. Why I want to do this on time is because I don't remember anything about last week's morning pages. I only have what's in this week's morning pages in my brain. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? Have you allowed yourself to daydream a few creative risks? Are you coddling your artist child within your childhood loves? I do not know what that means. But if I'm not mistaken, I did morning pages at least 5 or 6 times last week, which is not great, but at least I have some kind of consistency still. However, I still feel like the weeks are going by so fast. Did you do your artist date this week? Yes, I did. Did you use it to take any risks? How did you feel? Was I supposed to take risks on my artist date? Anyway, here's how the artist date went. Oysters are supposed to be an aphrodisiac, but more like a choking hazard. One thing about me is that I'll always be wearing Crocs. Anyway, I'm solo date ready. It's day 48 of the Artist Way, and today we're going for a solo date by the canal. This week, the author encouraged us to go to a sacred place, and I chose the canal. I brought my book so that I can finish reading week 7. I got this from the dollar store. It's an elephant because I want to get into crocheting a little bit, and it said 5 and above. Lies! I also brought my coloring book just in case the crocheting didn't work. I was reading the provided instructions, but they made no sense, so I found a video on YouTube. This is becoming a term paper. Maybe I'm not meant to be a crocheter. Bro, I've tried and tried and tried. I'm still on one stage. I'm watching a video in the slowest speed. I'm getting frustrated. Thank God I brought a coloring book. But that shit is hard. They don't tell you it's hard. Which 5-year-old can do this? After my little artist date by the canal, I decided to take myself out on a real solo date because I'm of the view that you have to show yourself love so that when you meet the love of your life, you know exactly how you'd like to be treated. And I chose this particular restaurant because they said they have $1 oysters, as you can see on the menu, $0.99. But tell me why the bill came and they charged me $21 and they said the promotion ended. Yet you can see it directly on the menu. It says $0.99. You guys rip me off. Oh my goodness, Sheila, calm down. Oysters almost choked me, by the way, then made me bloated. But in order of being grateful, I'm grateful that I'm able to pay this amount. Next time, don't rip people off. No, Sheila, we are choosing peace, not violence. That's it for my solo date. I was mad after the artist date because I took myself out for dinner. This is something, oh, maybe that's a risk that I took because I never really go out by myself to eat. It's one of my biggest phobias. But look at me, going out on my own, taking risks, sitting at the bar while I'm reading my book. That shit was wholesome. Until Sheila, you're supposed to stay calm this week. You're supposed to be positive until these guys rip me off. But you know what? It's fine. I'm grateful that I was able to pay that off. Were there any issues this week you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. Damn, I don't know. I don't remember. Honestly, I can't remember and I don't know. Now that it's Friday, I need to be more mindful about that for week 8's recap. But that's it for the weekly check-in now. Why do I feel like y'all are so low? Much better. Now for the things that stood out for me this week in recovering a sense of connection. The first chapter was about listening. The ability to listen is a skill we are honing in on both our morning pages and artist dates. If we are trying to think up something, we are straining to reach for something that's beyond our grasp, up there in that stratosphere where art lives on high. When we get something down, there is no strain. You're not doing, you're just getting. Someone or something else is doing the getting. And in that case, I believe the author meant God. We are not meant to strain ourselves for ideas. We're supposed to keep quiet and listen to them come through. Oh my goodness, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see, now I remember. Instead of reaching for inventions, we are engaged in listening. Art is an act of tuning in and dropping down the well. I actually remember this very well, and it's what influenced my artist day to sit by the water because I really like the water. My middle name is Namuga, which means streams of water or a river, something like this, but it's a water body. Also, I just need to remind you that the things that stood out to me is everything that you see underlined, and if I ever came to read about something, I'm just going to be focusing around this area because I do reread this stuff. Like an underground river, they flow through us as a stream of ideas that we can tap into. Again, in this case, the author is talking about all the ideas that you have in your head. It should not be so difficult to reach out for ideas. She's encouraging us to get into the habit of listening to ourselves because when you listen, you get answers. And these answers, there is a pool of answers. There is a well of answers because God is abundant. Let God do the major work, and your job, my job, is to listen and just speak from the well of ideas. We can learn not only to listen, but also to hear with increasing accuracy that inspired, intuitive voice that says, do this, try this, say this. I hear that voice very often, but I've been in my luteal phase, and I've probably been in this phase maybe for like a couple of days now, and I'm feeling very uninspired. This week has been, I don't know, all over the place. I haven't, it's Friday. I've only looked at one task that I have to do that I have not even done yet, which is wild to me. And if or when I repeat week 8, this is why. We are the instrument more than the author of our work. In other words, God is working through us and we need to just listen. So the author quoted Michelangelo: when I teach screenwriting, I remind my students that their movie already exists in its entirety. Damn. Their job is to listen for it, watch it with their mind's eye, and write it down. So this is for everyone that's struggling with content ideas. I'm pretty sure we have the ideas in our head. The execution is the problem, but you can also execute if you listen to what you want and yourself, and you're not bothered by all the noise you hear. Because we go to school, people teach us this, the other creator is doing that. We're so bombarded with information that we don't listen to our own voice type shit. With practice, we will learn how to hear the desired frequency on request. I cannot wait to get there, because I feel like in week 1, 2, 3, and 4, I was there. After that, days are rushing by so fast. Because many of us unconsciously harbor the fearful belief that God would find our creations decadent. How do you pronounce this word? It's decadent. Or frivolous, again with this word. Or worse, tend to discount the creator to creator help, because do not forget, you're a creator, God is a creator, and we work hand in hand. He gives us the knowledge, we just execute. Try to remember that God is the great artist like other artists. Expect the universe to support your dream. It will. I always expect the universe to support my dream, because it always does. And that's the end of this first chapter. Then the second chapter is perfectionism. Perfectionism has nothing to do with getting it right. It has nothing to do with fixing things. It has nothing to do with standards. Perfectionism is the refusal to let yourself move ahead. It's a loop, an obsessive, debilitating, closed system that causes us to get stuck in the details of what we are writing, painting, or making, and lose sight of the whole. Interesting. First of all, I do not know if the lines that I read out to you are very helpful, but all I know is that I'm recording this for my future self, that when I come back, I'm going to be like, damn, this is how you felt. Like, I'm going to do the artist way again, and I'm going to return to every week's recap just to see where my mind is at. The perfectionist writes, paints, creates with an eye of her audience. Oh my gosh, this is something that's very interesting to talk about. You know that when you're doing research on the kind of content you need to create, you find so many people giving you the kind of advice that comes from the first world. It's not God-based, it's advice telling you, no, you need to ask yourself, what does your audience want? All these things, and you get lost in the source. Different people want different things from you, but you cannot satisfy everyone. That's why it's very important to listen to God. You have to know what you want to communicate and you want to talk about, and not let the audience sway you, because when the audience sways you, end up being inauthentic type shit, which I'm not saying don't listen to your audience. I'm saying throw out the information, hear what the audience says, and act accordingly. I think that's how people end up burning out, by doing so many things at once, and I'm a testimony to that. Sometimes I end up doing things I don't want to do. It's just because it's what people like to watch, and I'm like, girl, you better be authentic. And I'm learning how to be more authentic. That's the end of perfectionism, and the next chapter is talking about risk. And the first thing here she asks is a question: what would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly? And the answer is a great deal more than I am doing right now type shit. Living is a form of not being sure, not knowing what's next or how. The moment we know how, you begin to die a little. Interesting, because it's actually true. You're not living life if you know everything that's going to happen. Life is full of surprises, and I'm here to ride that wave of surprises with it. If it's a tornado, I'm riding with the tornado. If it's calm, I'm riding with the calm. If it's flow, I'm riding with the flow. And that's on period. The artist never entirely knows. We just guess. We may be wrong, but we take leap after leap in the dark. If that does not define me, I don't know what does, because me, I'm just out here taking risks in life. We deny that in order to do something well, we must first be willing to do it badly. This is something I feel like everyone knows. Everyone that's an entrepreneur, everyone that's a creative, we know this for a fact, because nothing ever works out the way you want, but how God wants. And then the author quotes someone called Susan Jeffers, who says we cannot escape fear, we can only transform it into a companion that accompanies us on all our existing adventures. Take a risk a day, one small or one bold stroke that will make you feel great once you have done it. And here there is a list of things. What would you try if you are not scared of doing it perfectly? And there is stand-up comedy, modern dance, archery, water ballet, polo, all these things. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people that don't try stuff. If I want to try something, the only thing that can stop me is if I can't afford it. But if I can afford it, trust me, I'm going to do it. So none of these things count for me, honestly. There is no must in art because art is free. Yeah, art is free forming. I guess that's why I'm one of those people that are not meant for employment, because I'm an artist at heart. I just want to do my own things, create and all them things them. But the capitalistic world we live in is kind of anyway, I'm not here to complain. The next chapter we're talking about is jealousy. Jealousy, I've often heard, is a normal human emotion. When I hear that, I think maybe your jealousy is not mine. No, yeah. Actually, if this is what you think, this is what I think too, because I'll give you an example of myself. I don't know if you ever watched one of my vlogs in the past. Like, I block people that make me feel jealous towards them because I don't like sending this energy, and it could be my friend, it could be someone I know on the internet. If I'm working hard, or I feel like I'm working harder than you, but your stuff is being pushed out more, of course that's what I want. I want my stuff to be pushed out. I'll be a little bit jealous. So in order for me to not send that energy, I block temporarily until I get there, so that, or until I work on my mental space. And the reason why I'm saying my kind of jealousy is different is because a lot of times people talk about the kind of jealousy that you have towards someone because you want something they have and you're not putting in the work. In most cases, I'm putting in the work. I'm doing everything I need to do, but stuff doesn't happen. No, Sheila, stuff is happening right now. You're the one who is slacking. I take that back. We said we're going to be positive, positivity all the way. There is an exercise here called the jealousy map, an exercise. She says when jealousy bites, it bites like a snake. It requires an immediate antidote. On paper, make a jealousy map. Your jealousy map will be 3 columns. The first column is who, which is the name of who you're jealous of. The next column is write why, and then the third column is going to be action or the antidote, which is list an action you can take towards creative risk and out of jealousy. Okay, who am I jealous of? I know there is one friend of mine. She's called, let's call her Amanda. The reason I'm jealous of Amanda is because we started content around the same time, and she does food content and stuff like this, and out of the blue she blew up so much. And she has this characteristic of making you feel like what you don't know what you're doing. And I'm not jealous of her because she has this characteristic. That's her business. I'm jealous of her because she got the views that I wanted, the audience that I wanted. This is particularly on Instagram and TikTok. And it pissed me off. What am I going to do about this? What I did about it was mute her so that I don't have to see this and feel this towards her, because it's not her fault, it's entirely my fault. And now that I don't see it, it never crosses my mind. Which brings me to person number 2. Same shit. I started social media before her. In fact, she used to rely on a lot of what I do and my tips. Took my tips, took some of my audience because we used to do lives together. And then also food content. Now I know food content works very well, but I don't want to be boxed in this niche of food because that's where I started. And they blew up. But it's not only food that blows up. Other things do blow up. I'm just closing my mind and I'm like, should I go back to only food content? But no, I don't want that. That wouldn't make me happy. And that's why they say comparison is a thief of joy. Do you know what I did? Muted her as well. I actually unmuted her lately because I got over this. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. I unmuted both of them, and I will support them moving forward. I want to approach this with love as opposed to a negative space, and I needed to mute and block them temporarily for me to woosa. And now I'm in a much better mental space with them. I feel like those are the only 2 people I'm jealous of. For the most part, I'm not jealous. The next thing the author made us do here is archaeology and exercise. Complete these phrases. I don't know if you guys like this, where I tell you the phrases so you can complete them. But I'm going to pop them on the screen so that you can answer them yourself. It's basically questions about as a kid, I missed a chance to, and then you answer. As a kid, I lacked, and then you answer. I'll put them on the screen for you. Let's not make this long so that you can answer them yourself. But then the author goes ahead to be like, it's also important to acknowledge your positive inventory, because that exercise was a negative one. The positive one is, there are only 5 of them. Let me see. Oh, damn, there are 10. No, I'm just going to put them on the screen for you so that you can go through them for yourself if you would like to. It's very basic, but all these things are very helpful. Now for the tasks of the week. This week we're supposed to make this phrase a mantra. Now that we're doing it, let me just do that right now, as I did not do it last week. Treating myself like a precious object will make me strong. I love that. I'm just gonna put this right there because the author says to post it where you will see it daily. We tend to think that being hard on ourselves will make us strong, but it's cherishing ourselves that will give us strength. That I found that very profound. So I've done one exercise right now, even if it's week 8, that's fine. Give yourself time to listen to one side of an album. Okay, we no longer have this right now. I cannot listen to one side of an album, but what I did do when I went on my solo date is I listened to, what's his name? Giveon, is that how you pronounce his name? Ba-da-na-na-na, out of my head. From the day that I met you, the da-na-na-na-na-na, it's cold outside. I don't even know the words. My life, when you out of my life. Oh, okay, Sheila, stop it. I did listen to that. Learn to take mini artist dates to break the stress and allow insight. Okay, now this is making a lot of sense. So I've been taking breaks, but these breaks were not intentional artist dates. Like the past 2 days, I sat down in bed and did nothing. Nada. Zilch. Zero. Okay? So I'm just like, damn, I should have used those as my artist dates. Maybe figured out how to crochet while I was at that, but I didn't. Anyway, exercise number 3, take yourself to a sacred place. A church, a synagogue, a library, tree groves. Allow yourself to savor in the silence and healing solitude. I went on my solo date and I was by the lake. As much as I was sewing, I did take time to lie down in the grass, look at the water movement. I love that shit. Like, it's very calming and relaxing. So I did that. Create a wonderful smell in your house with soap, essence, candles, whatever. I did light a candle, so I think that counts. In fact, I'm going to light one today. Yeah, I'm going to light one today too. Wear your favorite piece of clothing for no special occasion. I have no favorite piece of clothing right now because I feel fat. Not I feel fat, I am fat. Sorry, Sheila, don't talk to yourself like this. Positive self-talk, positive self-talk. I'm a little bit on the bigger side and I'm not feeling very confident, which is fine, but I'm working on my confidence. We're going to end it at that. Buy yourself a wonderful pair of socks, one pair of gloves, one wonderfully comforting, self-loving something. I bought something. I don't know if that counts. In my bathroom, I have this little shower thing that I've always wanted to have, like a soap holder. I do have like a shower gel and everything, whatever, but I don't have a bar soap holder. And every time I'm using bar soap, bro, it's the ghetto. So when I went to buy my crochet kit, I got that for myself. What else did I get for myself? Oh, I also got myself more colors. These colors, because I have my coloring book, but the coloring book only has 4 colors, and my friends told me, oh, when you go to the dollar store you can get all these other colors, and I got all these. So I think I did that. For task number 7, this task is a little bit complicated. It says collect a stack of at least 10 magazines, which will allow yourself to freely dismember. Setting a 20-minute time limit for yourself. Tear literally through the magazine, collect any I did not do this one because I don't have magazines, bro. I don't know the last time I saw a magazine. Do they even still sell magazines? But I'm not going to buy a magazine just to cut out, so I did not do that. Ideally, what I normally do about this is that when I see stuff, I have a file in my phone called The Artist's Way. I keep a bunch of images there, and that's what I'm still doing. Then quickly list 5 favorite films. Do you see any common denominators around them? Are they romance, adventure, period pieces, political drama, family, epic thrillers? Do you see traces of cinematic themes in your collage? Yes. We're going to talk about movies. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Parent Trap. And I don't know, there is something about it that is very family-like, heartful, and I realize my theme is I like love stories, I like drama, I hate thrillers. I went to the movies last week, bro. We watched Sinners. I hated Sinners. Like, I loved it, but I hated it at the same time because I hate scary things. But Parent Trap, number 1, Matilda, number 2. As a kid, I used to watch this Matilda and I used to see myself in her because I felt like maybe I have superpowers within me. Remember how they used to mistreat her? Mrs. Trunchbull was mean to her. Her parents at home were mean to her. And then she learned how to move things with her eyes. Until this day, I believe I have a superpower at my big age, okay? Let it rest. I like stories that have a storyline of someone who struggled and then eventually made it big or something like this. Yeah. It makes so much sense why I create storylines about, like, now I want to talk about dating, which has nothing to do with this, but it has everything to do with love. I love romance movies. They're my favorite kind of genre. I also do share when I'm struggling and I'm having crush outs. And my sister once told me, she's like, oh Sheila, maybe people want to see things that are already done, But then I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Like Deutsche, when she did The Artist's Way, bro, I used to watch her all the way through, and I've watched all her Artist's Ways, and now I'm just like, damn, she's made it this far. I like when people see the journey of how much work I've been putting in and how hard it was, and so that when I make it, they be like, damn, this girl has actually been working so hard. I think those are only movies I wrote. I realized that the other things that I have are TV shows like Insecure. I really love Insecure. I really love Friends. So these are not movies, they're just shows. Task number 9, name your favorite topics to read about. Oh, I only have one topic I like to read about: personal growth, self-help, anything to do with improving my life. I love to read. I'm not so much of a reader. The only reason I read all these books is because they're helpful to me and they're going to help me grow. If I want to read something, especially in this day and age, when it has a movie, I'm not reading, I'm watching the movie. Although they say in most cases that the book is better, of course, because your imagination is wild. It goes wild, and when you watch it, it takes everything away type shit. I feel like that's how I thought about, no, not I feel like, I know this is how I thought about 50 Shades of Grey. I first read the first book, and I'm like, damn, this is so steamy. When I watch the movie, I'm like, damn, the grey in my head is not the grey that I'm seeing. The more you watch it, the more you get accustomed to it, which is kind of like programming, because they're programmed us to think that he's the it guy. I'm not saying he's not a good guy, he's just not my cup of tea. He's another person's cup of tea, not mine. However, I like the qualities type shit. Anyway, last task, give your collage a place of honor. A secret place of honor is all right in your closet, in your drawer, anywhere that is yours. Unfortunately, I did not do that exercise. I have it in my phone, so I hope that counts. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for week 7 of The Artist Way. I'm on week 8. I think I'm going to go on a maybe tonight go and read the rest. Damn, there's a lot to read. This is where I'm thinking maybe I'm going to repeat this, because there's so much reading, and I'm of the view that the less I read, the better. Like all the little things that I'm reading, I like to take them in slowly by slowly, as opposed to taking every information in at once. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, week 8 is a little bit long, so I feel like I'm going to repeat week 8. I haven't done any of that. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to repeat it because it's Friday and I have to do a review on Sunday, which I'm pushing my luck, so we're repeating it. Thank you for watching today's video all the way till the end. If you made it this far, can you please leave a heart emoji so that I know that you made it this far? As always, do not forget to stay motivated, be patient, trust the process, and spread the love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.